Welcome back to the first episode.
Welcome back, to the first episode. We haven't recorded an actual first, so
This is the first episode of the Mocktown podcast.
welcome to the show. Basically, Mocktown Podcast is going to be a weekly, up to date One Piece review, chapter breakdowns, thoughts, opinions, little theory crafting, couple games. Just gonna have a little bit of fun with the series as it goes on.
So many games.
So many games.
None
Today.
My name is Declan. This is the host, Saxon.
Welcome to the show. Mocktown Podcast is a dual show, a team effort, but I will be hosting with questions and statements that I wish to talk about regarding One Piece.
And I might have some answers and some theories of my own.
I'm certainly going to have my own theories. I've got a wild imagination and a deep appreciation for this show and comic book, this manga. So, yeah.
And I've got a can-do attitude.
He can do all the stuff that I can't, and I can do all the stuff he can't. We love this.
Let's get cozy.
So, just for the first episode today, Declan, I wanted to bring us in and just talk about our One Piece journeys. So where did you first find One Piece? When were you introduced to it?
Well, some say that the One Piece is the friends we made along the way.
Oda says it won't be that. Hopefully.
Darn. So, alright. If you're from Australia, shout out. Many of us grew up watching Toasted TV.
Yeah.
That's where I got my first set of I gazed upon One Piece. And I was like, this ain't bad. What is this next Dragon Ball Z anime that my life will revolve around? So yeah, started off with that as a child. And then they just ended it. They all died in the end of the 4Kids dub.
I specifically remember watching that episode.
And then I think that was it for the longest time. And then in high school, I had friends who were reading it and watching it. And I was like, holy shit, that's still going? This would have been 2013. So, yeah, 12 years ago now. And then I think just ever since then, I've been loosely watching, reading. And then I think it was Whole Cake Island where I was then reading full time.
Okay, so you were week to week by Whole Cake Island.
Yeah, well, I was actually reading it.
Yeah, okay.
I only watched it for the big fights to see what would be happening or how they'd interpret that in the anime. Just all subbed as well. And then every so often, especially during Wano, because it was so long, I was taking maybe a month or two off from reading, and then I would just read in bulk. I struggled reading it week to week.
Yeah.
Because then there'll be weeks I forget about it, and then I'll go back to read it, and I'll be like, oh, it's a break week. But now, for the past 2-3 years, I'm week to week.
Okay, yeah. So, really week to week journey started in Wano.
Yeah.
I think week to week was like that for most people, most One Piece fans, especially in our age bracket. I'm going to go in, I also found it through Toasted TV. It was the 4Kids dub. Shout out Sanji's voice actor being potentially one of the worst interpretations of my favorite character ever. But yeah, I remember just rewatching the East Blue episodes. Basically, they would just throw on the East Blue on repeat. But they occasionally would release a weekly episode where there'd be the new episode, and the 4Kids dub was bad. So I wasn't a huge fan of the show. They also censored a ton of stuff. So you never really understood what One Piece was about. It was just a silly little pirate animation, cartoon as a kid. I've really liked it. I remember watching specifically in 2006 or 7. It was the knock-up stream that sent him to Skypiea. Instead, that killed everyone, and it said the end. And that was how One Piece 4Kids dub ended. I remember seeing that and going, One Piece is over. That's the end of the show. It must have just not had a good run.
I only found that out last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was there. I watched it live and I went, this is at the end of the show. And when I was about 16, a friend of mine just said, shit, One Piece is sick. And I was like, what do you mean that kids show that ended in like 2007? He's like, ended? Still going. I didn't know what manga was. Really, I watched a little bit of anime. I'd never really jumped too much into it. And then in 2020, during the COVID lockdowns, I got really into Naruto. I watched the entirety of that, the entirety of Bleach, and a few other big shows, Hunter x Hunter. And my friend was like, alright, I think it's time for you to start your journey in One Piece. And by golly, shout out to my friend Kwame. He got me on. And I never looked back. I caught up. My goal was to catch up to the anime before the anime reached episode 1000. No, sorry. Yes, yeah, I believe episode 1000. And I caught up the day episode 1000 released. I watched that. I was like, this is fun. That's when I started the manga. And I jumped straight in. I read, I think there was maybe 20 chapters that we were behind. I caught up with those chapters and then instantly jumped into the week-to-week reading, and I found the community immediately online. I really enjoyed listening to theory crafting and people's analyses of the show and of the chapters, and I just found that there was so much to discuss about this world, and it was so open for interpretation. I think that was what really drew me into it, like, was just knowing, like, so many mysteries, because the first probably pre-time skip, I would say, you never know if Oda was just not explaining things or if he was setting things up, because he never really explained a lot of things in depth that weren't relevant. And I think once we got to post-time skip, it's just been Oda setting up more things but actually explaining some of the setups from pre-time skip, and that's when it was like real. I'm like, alright, this is a real world that this guy wants to build. He's not just like writing another show. He's not writing another comic book that he just wants to fucking keep out there for ages and keep producing to make money. He had a story to tell, and he has a place to finish, which is so unique in a lot of manga.
I hope so.
Yeah, potentially. I think at this point we can safely say it's going to happen. But, you know, he could always just do it's the friends along the way, and he's just been making it up the whole way. It just feels like there's too much foreshadowing within the series of so much that happens in Elbaf, where we are now, that it's unlikely that it's not real. And it's not like got a story to tell and a place to go. Yeah.
I actually remembered what brought me back into One Piece. When I was a teenager. It was seeing Gear 4.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was like, this isn't real.
Katakuri fight? Gear 4, when was the first instance?
No, that was like Snake Man. So, Doflamingo.
Doflamingo was Gear 4, yeah.
Dressrosa.
Big arc. I would say Dressrosa was probably the arc that I struggled to get through the most. But I've reread it now, and in hindsight, I think just read the series if you want to catch up. Like, it's better.
I might be wrong to say this, but was Oda not in, like, taking a break during this period?
He did. Kishimoto was assisting, I believe, just with art. I think Kishimoto just did art, but he did assist Oda with quite a few things while Oda was going through something. I don't know. I wasn't in the community during the release of Dressrosa, but something was happening to stop that. Just
a while ago. It's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know. And that's the crazy thing. Like, it puts it into perspective. Just, I've sort of been way too lucky with One Piece, because once I caught up, my week-to-week, even anime releases were top-tier animation. And you can sort of blitz through so much of the show, especially when you can skip intros and stuff. The episodes are only 13 minutes long. And then by the time I was watching week to week, it was every episode was good. Like, it was the Kaido fight.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. It was, the first Kaido fight, I think. Not the one where he blows up the mountain. I think that had already been animated by episode 1000. I think it was I think it was just before the raid, or the raid had just started. The raid on Onigashima. But I got real lucky with my, like, anime week-to-week watching. and that, I think, amplified how much I enjoyed reading Wano. Because it was pretty quickly into Gear 5, for those of us that know. The depths of that getting introduced in the manga pretty quickly. I got to see what it's like in the community when something big happens straight away, pretty much. And as a week-to-week reader, Wano was tough, but I came in at the end. And then Egghead was tough with the hiatuses, but easy with the fact that every chapter just felt exciting. Like, oh, we're getting a chapter on a Thursday. I wake up on a Friday morning in Australia, look for some scans, some fan translations immediately, and just...
I would read the spoilers like a week beforehand and be like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, we got a spoiler guy over here.
Look at the scans without any text, and be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, no, I was a hold off till TCB. I would occasionally look at an OP scans if it came out early, but the translations I found were so bad that I was like, I actually just prefer reading TCB, so that's the only scan I read now. And then obviously I reread the chapter when Shonen Jump drops the official translation. And I think it's important to have official translation right now. For those of you that don't know, Viz has a individual person who retranslated the entire series and translated week to week. In English, it's just one guy who really likes One Piece, so I think he gets really good connections, and he has a really good understanding of what Oda's saying, and is able to translate more what he's saying and less the words he's saying.
Because if you are listening and watching this, we will be keeping things up to date.
Yeah.
So if you don't want spoilers, don't listen.
Yeah.
If you want spoilers, listen.
If you don't care about where this series is going, you're watching, you just want to hear people talk about One Piece, you're probably not going to understand what's going on, because there's going to be a lot of context that, we're just not going to have to bring up. But week to week, we will be talking about the chapter releases.
I reckon we bring up context.
Yeah, of course. But, we're not going to read line for line each chapter. There's plenty of words in there that we're like, we don't care about these.
We're not going to hold your hand.
We're not going to hold your hand doing the series. But
we'll guide you.
We will talk about it, and we will enjoy chatting about it. I think, especially now, Albaf is just drop after drop after drop with the releases. It's lore. We're at that we've got the Gods Knights involved now. We're gonna do a bigger Albaf breakdown next week, as well as talk about the chapter that is just released, 1143. We're gonna record that now.
Came out today.
We will be a week behind, but then as of the next week, we will be caught up. We will do 1144, and if 1145 drops, we'll do 1145. Do a dual chapter episode, and then we'll be keeping up as it releases. We will be releasing these on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Weekly.
Let's just say weekly for now. We'll be releasing these, and then we will be talking about the chapter that officially drops for us Sunday night at like midnight. So it gives us Monday to understand and really know what was being said in the chapter. I think this week's chapter was an instance of a lot of different translations of what was said compared to TCB, and I think the Viz reads a lot more comfortably. So we are probably going to talk almost entirely about Viz translation and use the language they use. Yeah.
But, I just want to talk about me and Saxon over here and how this idea to start doing this became a thing.
Yeah.
It's because we work together.
Yeah.
So, basically, every week we would just be talking about One Piece.
Yeah, we had a click.
What if we tried to make some money?
We are dirty capitalists. We haven't learned from Luffy. But we have a little click at work of people that read weekly, and it was just like every Friday or Saturday.
I would come in like a big dog knowing the spoilers.
Yeah. I'm gonna dangle these little spoilers in front of you, but no, he never got me.
Never did. I'm a good boy.
Yeah, he's a man who knows his place. Lost my mind.
Dropping truth bombs.
Yeah, especially because like when we started a year ago, so we
At the work.
at the workplace. We've been there for probably 18 months now. Immediately, very quickly, you find out who likes One Piece. All it takes is a pin on a lanyard or a
Someone's phone ringtone.
yeah.
Den mushy.
Hey,
Which is Saxon.
that's me. I didn't pay $4.99 for it.
Mushy mushy. So good.
It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun. I am annoyed that when you answer, it doesn't say "katcha." It's just the butter. But it is fun when you get a call and someone goes, "Is that Den Mushi?
Is that One Piece?
Is that One Piece? Is it from One Piece?" And you're like, "Yes, it is." Now,
Didn't that show end?
didn't that show end in like 2009? But yeah, no, we started. We had a little click. We'd get together. We'd chat about where we think the next chapters are gonna go, or where the arc as a whole is going. So we're gonna get into more of that stuff next episode. Today is just talking about how One Piece has impacted our lives and how we sort of came in.
Don't want to discuss Elbaf so far?
I think we'll leave that for tomorrow. For next week, sorry. I don't know why I said tomorrow. Because yeah, I think today will be a good day just to show we love One Piece.
We love One Piece.
And we love cherry pie.
Get your sword out.
Get my sword out. I do have
Don't drop it again.
Wado Ichimonji.
Yes.
It's a completely blunt blade and isn't real at all. Definitely not real. Thank you, Australian police, for knowing that is not a real sword.
It's a prop sword. It's
a prop sword.
Mache.
I have the invoicing that says it is a blunt object. I wouldn't play with it. But it's a sword.
It definitely does not have teeth marks in the handle.
I had to see if I could do what Zoro could do, and I don't even like Zoro that much. First controversial take of the pod.
Ooh, controversial take.
I like him. I think he's a fine one-dimensional character, and that dimension is being cool as shit.
I wish during the time skip one of the monkeys killed him and took his role as.
But no one acknowledged it.
No one acknowledged.
just like a green-haired monkey, and everyone's like, "Damn, Zoro, you train hard." Yeah. I personally think we could have just had a crew of Kung Fu Dugongs, and Luffy would have been fine. I think those guys stood on business in a way that the rest of the Straw Hats haven't.
So when Zoro opens his eye, it's going to be a monkey eye. It'd be like a monkey paw.
A whole monkey's just going to jump out.
In his eye.
He has 5 wishes in his eye, yeah. Hawkeye, Mihawk, and Monkey Eye Zoro versus the fight. The biggest fight of the series.
Hawkeye and Monkey Eye.
Yeah. The two eyes of the animal kingdom. There's only two. No other animals have eyes.
On the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
One Piece.
One Piece. One piece of advice is read the series. It's great.
Oh, and I don't know if we even said, this is the Mocktown podcast.
Yes.
We are based and recording this out of Mocktown.
In Jaya. We got Bellamy. He's springing around the place.
Springing all over.
Being
the
a
place.
menace to society.
He is getting his blood everywhere.
But I gotta say, I think he might have a change of heart. I think he may get better. And I love him for that.
But, yeah, to avoid any confusion, Mocktown based around the town Luffy and Blackbeard meet for the first time.
A very important part of the series. I think no one realized. Obviously, introducing a character who is so obviously diametrically opposed to Luffy. I like this cherry pie. I don't. I like this drink. I don't. Like, it's obvious.
Fight about it.
And then fight about it. But also, both upon introduction, seem to be quite funny and, like, loose characters that we don't know Blackbeard's morals, and I think that fits well with Luffy.
Dreams never die.
Dreams never die, yeah. Like, there is a lot that Luffy and Blackbeard really like are the same with, and it's two sides of the same coin, really. It's how do you approach chasing your dreams, and that's where they oppose. It's beautiful, really, because they both chase their dreams, and that's the entire story. Really, is about chasing your dreams, and then destroying authoritarianism and fascism. That's about the entirety of the series. They're the two
slavery, child abduction. Just everything that happens.
Yeah. Just like, how can we have a show where we tell as many stories as possible that are as funny and goofy and silly as possible, while also making you so abundantly aware that the people Luffy is fighting are doing terrible things.
This is why I get upset when people say I'm not political. What do you mean? I read One Piece.
Yeah, I know. I know about...
Come on now.
I know about... who did they just refer to in Elbaf? The narrator, the scientist they refer to earlier in Jaya, and then they were re-referred to him in Elbaf. Alright, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
What?
The guy who wrote the storybook about Little Garden. Sorry, Little Garden. Not Jaya. On Little Garden, they have a story from a in-world author describing Little Garden, and then he's popped back up in...
I didn't catch that.
Did you?
No.
Hey,
I don't catch a lot of things. I read it and I go, that was interesting, or that made me upset.
Yeah,
or,
no, honestly.
That was cool.
Yeah, well, look, I'll be more prepared when I talk about these things in future episodes. It's a little easier to maintain it.
There was so much drama trying to get this set up, record it.
Yeah, audio setup was a nightmare. If this sounds bad...
Alright.
Sorry, guys. This is how we're doing it.
Cool.
You try and set up 2 USB microphones on one Windows device.
Apparently, you're not allowed to do it. And that's what we're doing.
You can do it. You just need to use non-proprietary Windows software. And that software is a bit janky.
Mm-hmm.
But we got there. It seems a bit weird that you can't have multiple recording inputs directly through Windows.
Naughty boy.
It's not a highly difficult thing for a computer to do. But here we are. But apparently Here we are.
But hopefully you guys like this setup. This is $1 million podcast studio. As you can tell. Who got it?
We got the Straw Hat Crew.
The Straw Hat dude.
The Straw Hat Crew. We got the Straw Hat Crew. I've put them in a rough bounty order. I actually put the top in the order. The East Blue 5. I put them in the order of introduction of joining the crew.
But why is Luffy white? You should know. If you're 20 minutes into this, you should know. You
should know what Gear 5 is. And I got to be honest, it was pretty tough putting that up. I'm currently re-watching the entire series. I'm just finished Elbaf. I'm re-watching it with my partner who's watching it for the first time. And it's sometimes hard to explain who or what these characters are and why I chose them. She only knows Sanji, Usopp, Nami, Zoro, Luffy, and Chopper at the moment. I think she's obviously met Nico Robin, but I have not shown the episode in which Nico joins the crew, which I love.
Do we know Usopp's last name?
God. No, the Sops don't have a family name as of yet. Nor does Nami. I think realistically, in the same fashion we got Vinsmoke Sanji, this arc we could get Usopp's full name from Yasop. They're bound to meet this arc. Again, if you're watching this, you should be probably close to Elbaf or on Elbaf.
We got Cuddy Flam over here.
Cuddy Flam, son of Queen potentially. Let's get into that at another time. That's there's some maths that show, and he was also found what seems to be in front of an ex-Mads ship. So there's a good chance Queen. He's not a good guy. He could have abandoned young Cuddy, who's turned into Frankie. Nico, there might be a D in between those two names. I don't know. That's just all I'm saying. That's the only thing I can think of. Jinbei?
The fucking man. He's my favourite. He's my favourite Straw Hat.
I think this perfectly goes into who is your favourite Straw Hat. It's Jimbo. Jinbei.
Jimbo Jones.
Jimbo Jones. Jimbo Shark.
Old blue skin whale shark over there, or whatever he's meant to be.
Yeah, whale shark. Whale shark is correct.
You said this was not controversial, but it's uncommon for Jinbei to be the favourite.
I would say that Jinbei isn't typically people's favourite because his introduction so early into the series, but his joining of the crew was so late.
Such a mad dog early on.
But I will say his introduction, I think as far as any Straw Hat goes, his introduction may be the best because it's so closely tied to Luffy.
He was like, I got some shit to deal with.
Yeah.
Luffy was like, alright, bet. See you later. Like,
yeah. Zoro and Luffy hung out for, a chapter or two as the only two crew members. Nami was there as an ally from the beginning of their relationship. Luffy really got introduced to Jinbei one-on-one and stayed together one-on-one. And I think that we got to learn a lot about Jinbei. We probably got more character development from Jinbei from the beginning.
Do you first see him at Marineford in the prison?
At Impel Down. Yeah. Yep, you see him at Impel Down, and then he's a part of the Breakout Squad. And I think where everyone really fell in love with Jinbei was after after Marineford arc. I'm not going to say what big event happened, but something big happened at Marineford, and our viewers should know what happened.
Are you avoiding saying it?
I'm avoiding saying it because my partner will probably watch this out of support, and I don't want to ruin it for her. Basically, what Jinbei did post-war arc in that mini arc, pre-time skip.
I'm in the mood for a donut.
That's ridiculous to say. I'm not in that mood. I wished it never happened. I will admit, I actually quite like his replacement. Luffy. That one, it was a little contrived, but I actually enjoy the character of Sabo a lot. And that's all I'm going to say.
So who's your favourite?
Who's my favourite?
Oh, sorry. I want to go back to Jinbei.
Go back to Jinbei, please. Gush. Gush about the goat.
Just his whole saying goodbye to Big Mum. Life, death. And he's just like, life. She's like, alright, cool. I'll kill you. No effect. Everyone's shocked. And he's like, why should I be scared of you?
Yeah. Why is he scared? Jinbei's a big boy.
Oh, so good.
And the truth of the matter is, it would have taken Big Mom maybe 5% of her strength to kill Jinbei at that point. She's the second strongest character in the story at this point, I would say. That had been introduced. Maybe third if we go Shanks. But
we never know.
We never know Shanks. And it's the same with Dragon. My personal opinion, Dragon's probably stronger than Shanks. But he could also be way weaker and just be
trained under Garp. He has to be online with Aokiji, the others.
The others, Kizaru.
I know their names, don't worry.
Akainu, Fujitora.
Yep. Rikugo.
Is that the forest man?
Yeah, the forest
man. Rikugo. I don't even remember what his actual name is. He was a letdown.
Pronunciations might be a bit rough.
We have Australian accents. Give us a break.
Come on, guys.
This is not the show to talk about with an Australian accent.
I've got a cough.
Yeah? That was so fake. That was a comic book cough if I've ever heard one. Father, I have the black lung.
It might be.
Zoolander reference on a One Piece podcast. But yeah, no, Jinbei's got it. I understand. I did say it was rare. I think most people tend to go for the core 5, the East Blue 5. And I'm a victim of that. Unfortunately, I fell in love with Sanji really early on, and as the series has gone on, the perv trope has gotten worse. And I gotta say, it's more manageable to deal with in the manga. He's not super pervy. He has a couple jokes, maybe a line every 3 or 5 chapters that's a bit pervy. But Toei really said, no, he's pervy every filler scene we can have with him in it.
When he met that Vegapunk, I forget which one.
Yeah, Lilith.
And he's just doing like the dog thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's rough.
That one was rough, and that was
Rough.
that was a part of the manga too. There's some questionable things that Sanji has done. I gotta say the nosebleed thing, that one hurt to watch.
We're also aware how controversial this. It's ill.
Yeah.
The overarching story is amazing, but there's little things they add in which go make me go. No one walks in while I'm watching this or reading this.
Yes. Yeah. And look, like I think we have to be clear that it's coming from another culture, and
Throwing them under the bus.
well, hey, look, it's just how it is. It's coming from another culture that maybe they're not as protective of these sort of things. But I also have to say, Toei did Sanji dirty. Like, really, the manga, he's pervy when it's the right time to be. But he's not doing it every 2 seconds or in the middle of a fight like he is with every filler scene he's a part of in the anime. It's quite annoying to watch the anime as a Sanji fan, because you're like, well, it's just going to get worse. And he also sort of steps over, like, the line a little bit more in the anime, where in the manga he's just sort of like a perv from afar. He's like just idolizes women, where in the anime he can really make them uncomfortable, and that, as far as a character, really struggled to like a character like that. But if we're talking about actual Sanji, bro's the GOAT. You see that guy standing behind a wall just listening, just eavesdropping, and he lights a cigarette, you know he's about to be the only reason the Straw Hats get through this encounter. He's about to do something that saves everyone's life, and it's been like that from the beginning, really.
He comes in clutch pretty hard.
He's come in clutch so many times.
And this is why you smoke.
I do smoke cigarettes, yep. I am a Sanji cigarette smoker. I have actually thought about buying his lighter, but I want to get... Yeah, you can buy like a real gold... there's a company that makes a real gold version of it, but it's like $500.
I don't think I ever thought about the fact that he has a lighter.
Yeah, no, he has a signature lighter. It's actually real cool. It's a gold... Yeah.
You're like, I've never seen that lighter before.
Yeah, no, it's a gold-plated flip, like Zippo style lighter with the original wick sort of style, old school. And there's a company that makes it, but yeah, they make it real gold, and it's like $400. So maybe
if some of the fans could just send through some funds.
Once we start a Patreon and we have money coming in, we'll that'll be the first part. I'll just buy that lighter.
Let's make Saxon's dreams come true, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get him that golden lighter.
I will admit, I'll probably, despite loving Sanji and Zoro being probably one of the last on the list of Straw Hats I like, I do have his sword, and I think his sword's
not a Zoro fan, hey?
Well, I'm a Zoro fan. I'm just not I just think when I compare them to the other Straw Hats, he's a little one-dimensional. He hasn't gotten the character growth that I think he could have in Wano. He got the power growth with Enma. That was sick. I don't know how it shrunk to fit his body, but was big. No, all right. But yeah, no, I think he can be a bit one-dimensional. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna fight the second strongest guy, and he doesn't really do anything other than that. And sometimes I think the second strongest guy could be handled by Sanji and Jinbei, or Zeus, if honestly, yeah, or Frankie. Frankie and Robin are so much stronger than I think it's the fights they're given. I think they blitz their fights, as seen with Frankie versus who's who? Oh, Wano was years ago at this point.
No,
Jinbei was who's who. That's right. Yeah.
Who we've recently seen in the
cover story in
which is now over.
Is it?
Yeah,
Was
think
that the
latest chapter was?
Well, there was a cover spread this
Oh.
chapter, but I think what is it, Yamato's pilgrimage around Wano or whatever it's called is gonna be continuing. If it's not, boy oh boy, that was boring. She interrupted Who's Who, torturing technically his adopted sisters. Or sister and brother, sorry. Like Kaido's kids.
Is that what it is?
Page One and Ulti are Kaido's adopted kids. A little bit of SBS lore that just dropped. They are the kids of Hanafuda, who is the warlord that worked under Kaido before Doflamingo, and was defeated by Ace. And that was how Ace got his ginormous bounty of 500 million, I think it is. He beat Hanafuda. He got offered warlord. He said no, and I think that warlord position, who did that go to? I have Jinbei. No, I think Blackbeard was took. No, yeah, it was Blackbeard. You're right.
Or did Crocodile?
It could have been Crocodile. It could have been. I think there was already 7 warlords. By the time we entered the series, and Hanafuda had been beaten by the time we had entered the series. And Ace was going after Blackbeard from the moment we were introduced to him. I don't think Blackbeard at this point. I don't think he got warlord status until he.
Oh no!
Until after Marineford.
Wasn't it? After. Wasn't it after Doflamingo was defeated? Or was it after Crocodile was defeated and they were like, we need to figure out...
And then I think after Marineford, they were like, well, it's this guy then.
Lafayette. Oh, Lafitte.
Yeah, Lafitte. Yeah.
Came in and was just twiddling this thing.
That's right, at the first Reverie.
Yeah.
At the very first Reverie we were introduced to.
I have someone to recommend.
Yeah?
My Captain Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Marshall D. Teach. Or Marshall Teach.
And no D's allowed to be dropped near World Govy personnel.
Nope.
We're not dropping that. And look, I gotta say, Blackbeard is. I think all of us know now that the end boss may be Emu, but I think ultimately the real battle of who will choose the next generation's trajectory will be Luffy and Blackbeard. I think Blackbeard's going to do some atrocious things as time goes on.
He's a bit of a naughty boy.
He's a naughty boy. He's got far less morals than Luffy. I think as I was saying before, I'm rewatching Alabasta. You realize how morally inclined Luffy is. A lot of people try and say he's quite amoral. He wants to help his friends and he doesn't care who his friends are. I think, and that's definitely something that's coming up in the current arc with one of the major characters. But I think ultimately Luffy is a very moral character, and his morals are just that he wants to be able to see everyone be well fed, and healthy, and then have the ability to chase their own dreams. And he says as much in his conversations throughout Alabasta with Crocodile about how he just, people need water. And he wants to give it to them. He wants them to have it.
Which we see again in Wano when that little girl.
Yes, Otama gives her last piece of rice to him. On her birthday, the only thing she gets to eat for a year. Guaranteed she's going to eat rice on her birthday. And, Luffy gobbled that stuff up, which you could say there's an example of him being amoral, but he didn't know that. But once he understood that, he killed literally the strongest character that exists in the show and will exist. I think Kaido will always be a power stamp of he's one-on-one the hardest to beat. Because Luffy didn't win one-on-one. He won with so many people helping him. So many people helping him. Killer got some serious licks on Kaido. Zoro cut his chest open in a way that hadn't happened since Odin. And then Luffy just came in And it took him, like, what, 3 rounds to finish the job?
Cartoon powers activate.
Yeah, basically. He had to enter a totally different stratosphere of devil fruit power. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I don't think he's fully awakened yet. I think that was just a little cop out, because he never says he's awakened.
We might need to close this window.
We may. Yes.
If you're hearing that noise, apologies. Or watching Saxon close. Yeah, window is closed. No more rattling.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I listen to it all day, every day, and I ignore it quite well. And I sometimes forget that other people won't. Next thing I wanted to ask, big part about our One Piece journey. What's your favourite arc?
Probably like Ark of the Covenant.
That's not one of them.
I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard to have a favourite with One Piece because it's such an overarching story.
I don't know. I don't think I can give you an answer where I'm happy with the answer.
No, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. I have a real. Yeah, I guess you're right. There was obviously Marineford. There's so much that happened. I actually think that little post Marineford into time skip, that little window, that's probably the best for me.
Peak.
That's peak. And it's just a sad part of the series where you're just like, things have to change for the first time in the whole series, because Luffy's stronger than everyone he fights up until Marineford. He's the strongest person in the room every time. And like, you could say Crocodile because he beat him 4 times. Yeah. You are a big fan of Croc.
Big fan.
You're a big Croc guy. It's your favorite enemy.
Yeah, I think he was the first major threat.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, this is going back a while.
Yes.
But just like, he stabbed him straight through the chest.
Yeah.
This fucking killed him.
Yeah. And then he did that hard outro. I can't do it. I don't have a deep voice, but my God, he sounded cool. Shout out to the voice actor on that one.
He just looked cool all the time.
He did.
They've cast like the perfect live action person.
Yeah.
Joe, I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
Deathstroke.
Also, we did just find out that season 2, the showrunner is taking some time off at the end of season 2's release,
which is interesting.
Which I think it's too much of an undertaking to go beyond Alabasta. I think there may be a little bit too much work. I think they may stop it at Alabasta. They could keep going. They could. They may have to cut out some arcs, though. I think there's going to be too much that is...
There's no way you can do it.
No, exactly. And that's why I think they stop. I think it was a great introduction, especially for Netflix, to have that live-action One Piece drop and get the Western audience. Like, live-action One Piece, my dad is also watching One Piece at the moment. He's currently at, like, Skypiea, I think. He's just met Anel, or about to meet Anel. And he got into it through the live action, and he went, this is such a fun little show. And I'd shown him the first couple of episodes a few times. I knew he'd love it. He's a real literature buff, and I knew he would appreciate that.
He appreciates Shakespeare and One Piece.
He appreciates fiction. And I think the only reason I appreciate One Piece the way I appreciate it as much as I do is because I appreciate fiction. And that was introduced to me from a young age. Like, I got to read all your classic fictions. Obviously, when you're a kid, you start with your Harry Potters and your... Never read. Yeah, impressive. Stay away from it. It's not that good. Lord of the Rings. I read The Hobbit after Harry Potter.
I've never seen the movies.
That one... The Hobbit movies you can avoid.
I've watched the first 2 Hobbits.
Watch the Lord of the Rings movies. They're much better.
I'll get to them.
Yeah, and then I read Lord of the Rings. I I started to delve into sci-fi with like Ender's Game and a few of those. But then I took a massive break, as I think every teenager does, from reading. I was just like, I don't want to read anymore. I'm done with that. One Piece came in. I was into anime. I was into watching TV. It was COVID times. I had nothing else to do but watch TV. I dropped out of uni during COVID, so there was just
tough time.
There was no time, and you guys don't probably know, but Melbourne had the strictest lockdowns in the world. I think.
Yeah, I was living in Perth, so I was just chilling.
They don't know what it is still.
COVID.
The carrier pigeon hasn't made it to Perth, telling them about
lost along the Nullarbor.
Yeah. It was in the middle of the outback. There's just a bird out there that's carrying news to Perth, but they never received it.
Yeah, just leave that at the border.
Yeah. But yeah, I got in at a time where I was able to stream through it, and I was able to just appreciate it. And then now as a weekly reader, it's pretty easy to appreciate.
I like that I can just always come back to it.
You can always come back to it. It's always there.
I am not reading or watching any other anime.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I've tried multiple times to get into Naruto. Can't do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you got to start with Naruto. I think if you start with Naruto, you go, wow, this is amazing. And then you read One Piece and you go, okay, Naruto actually sucks, but I still appreciate it because it was good when I read it.
For me, it was Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Never done Dragon Ball Z.
Crazy.
Never touched Dragon Ball. I've done the first maybe 100 episodes of Dragon Ball with baby kid Goku with the tail. But I've never gone beyond that. I just couldn't. It was too slow, funnily enough, from a One Piece fan. It was too slow. But yeah, no, I think the moral of the story is we just really appreciate One Piece, and we want to talk about it. And I definitely want to, in the future, get into theory crafting.
We're going to talk about theories. We're going to rank things.
I think it is the week of April, mid-April, the second or third week of April. There is a scheduled break of One Piece. We will be doing a mural deep dive.
Ooh.
And let's just say, if anyone's listening, if you want to be listening in the future, have that as a target. Make sure you know what we're talking about when we say the mural deep dive.
April 14th.
So that week, that will be
There's break week.
a break week, and we're gonna do a big mural deep dive. We're gonna really talk about this stuff, and we're really gonna get into the fact that Oda knew everything he's ever done ever, and he knows exactly what he's gonna do ever from the day one. He's never written anything different than what he knew he was gonna do. Except all that was a lie, and he sort of guessed along the way.
And this has been the introduction to the Mocktown podcast.
Welcome to Mocktown.
Saxon.
I hate cherry pies.
I love cherry pies.
I love drink.
Drink bad.
Mocktown. That's actually, I like that exit. I liked how we did that.